What is up, YouTube world? This is Luke with Wilson Auto Detailing, and today's subject is the clay bar. In this video, I'm going to talk about the clay bar, the what, the why, the how, the when, and the where. So, everything you want to know about clay bar, what it is, how to use it, why we use it, all that kind of stuff is going to be in this video. Now, today I am working on an Impala, and I'm just detailing the exterior, which is a great thing because it doesn't take very much time. It allows me to make this video, and but I make great money doing it. So, anyways, the clay bar. Before I talk about the clay bar, let me give the information of why we even need to use a clay bar, what the purpose of using one on a car even is. And again, all these videos are unscripted and they are shot right on location, and so this is real time. So anyways, the clay bar, okay? What is the purpose of a clay bar? Every single car, whether it be a Porsche or a Rolls-Royce or a Toyota or a Honda, every car is driven outside. Spoiler alert, right? Yeah, duh. And every car is gonna collect dirt. Now, when you wash a car, you're washing off that surface dirt and that surface dust. However, if any of you do-it-yourselfers or professional detailers or car enthusiasts out there watching this video have ever washed your car and then sort of looked at your car or felt your car, like run the back of your hand over your car after you got done, you probably noticed that, yes, it probably looked a lot better, and yes, a lot of the dirt and dust was washed off, but it wasn't like a smooth finish, like a glassy, smooth finish. It felt sort of rough, kind of like there was all these little bumps in it. Now, those little bumps are what we call in the detailing world industrial fallout, rail dust, surface contaminants. There's a lot of different names for it, but basically all that means is that there are tiny, tiny minerals and tiny, tiny dusts that collects on your car's paint that sticks and kind of embeds itself into the car clear coat. And it does not come off with normal washing and waxing. And if those surface contaminants, which are on every single car, because if your car is ever driven outdoors, it will collect. If those surface contaminants are not taken off, you will experience something called clear coat failure, which I will show a picture of right now. Now you can see in that picture, the clear coat looks kind of snowy and ashy and like it fades, and that's because that car was not clay barred, the paint was not taken care of, so those surface contaminants, industrial fallout, the rail dust that sticks, that you cannot see with your eye, with the unaided eye you can't see it, you can feel it though, it ends up eating into the clear coat and actually eating away the clear coat until something like that happens, and it's called clear coat failure. Now, how long that takes to happen, how long that, how many years or months or whatever, it's going to be different with every car, because some cars are kept in the garage sometimes, some cars are kept outside all the time, so it just depends on how long it takes for something like that to happen. But if a car is not taken care of and never clay barred, that is inevitable, it will happen. Now, the reason why some people call it rail dust is because when cars are when cars are transported by train, you have all that dust from the railroad that kicks up and it sticks on the car's paint. Industrial fallout really just means kind of pollutants in the air. Those pollutants in the air naturally stick to the car's paint. And here's a disclaimer. If you buy a new car, like I bought a new Toyota Corolla 2016 this past year, and I clay barred it as soon as I bought it. Well, why? The normal person would think, well, no, you don't need to clay bar your car, you just need to do that, after maybe 6 months of you having it, then go ahead and clay bar it. But was not my car sitting outside at the dealership when it was waiting to be bought. Well, what was happening while I was sitting outside? It was collecting industrial fallout. It was collecting air pollutants onto the paint. So I clay barred it as soon as I got it, and then I waxed it. Now, that being said, that is why cars need to be clay barred, because they collect industrial fallout, surface contaminants, air pollutants, rail dust, whatever you want to call it. Every single car on the face of the earth has it, no matter how nice or how low end. Doesn't matter, they all have it, and it has to be taken off. Now, some of you, do-it-yourselfers maybe, have tried to wax your car, and it didn't really work very well because you couldn't take the wax off very easily. Now, this could be for one of two reasons. You couldn't take the wax off very easily, and it felt like it left swirls, or like some of the wax stayed on the paint and it looked horrible because, number one, it wasn't a very good wax, and it was a difficult wax to take off, or it was a wax that couldn't be used in the sun and you were trying to use it in the sun. Or number two, your car needs to be clay barred, and because it hasn't been clay barred, it's impossible to take all the wax off, because you could relate it to, it's like analogous to trying to spray wax onto a piece of sandpaper. Well, you're never going to buff off that wax from that sandpaper because it's so rough. Well, that's kind of like the car's paint. Not all cars have to be clay barred before you wax it. Not all of them have to, but some of them are in such bad shape and it's so rough that they have to be clay barred in order to even apply a wax, because if you don't, it would be way too rough and you couldn't take it off. Now, that being said, I have a little tray of stuff right here that I'm going to show you guys kind of what it all is. Now, let me explain something real fast. This is a clay bar, okay? Right here. All right? Take it out of the box. This is a clay bar from Pinnacle, which is just a car products company. A lot of detailers use, a lot of do-it-yourselfers. Pinnacle has some great products that I like. This is what a clay bar looks like. It literally looks like silly putty. And it's kind of what it is. It can be stretched, torn apart. It's just a thing of clay. All right? Now, the clay bar is used to it's used to run across the surface of the paint like this. You just go back and forth. And what it does is the putty or the clay sticks to those surface contaminants and pulls them off of the paint. And you could almost relate it to like sanding your car. Are you sanding your car? No. Are you gonna like scratch it all up? No, not at all. Like, I'm not saying that. But it's kind of like sanding a piece of wood. It takes all the rough edges and just completely smooths it out. And this putty does exactly that. This clay, it sticks to all the surface contaminants and just pulls them off as you rub it back and forth. Now, it's important to understand that using a clay bar, you will abrade the paint. I know that the manufacturer label will tell you these days, it will not abrade the paint, but to the unaided eye, to the uncritical eye, you'll see nothing. To the critical eye, like myself or like a professional detailer, it will abrade the paint. On a white car like this, not a big deal, you're not going to see it. However, this guy's blasting his music. Okay, see, this is live action. Now, on a black car, if you use a clay bar on a black car, you're going to want some polish to finish up, because it will abrade the paint and you will see some just abrasions. But for those of you who don't know what that means and you're just a do-it-yourselfer, I wouldn't worry about it. Now, anyways, before you clay bar paint, the paint needs to be cleaned. So you can do that. I'm not going to talk about car washing right now in this video. I'm going to try to keep it simple to the clay bar, but you can clean the paint by number one, just wash your car, soap, bucket, sponge, or you can do what I do. And I use a solution of 50% alcohol, 50% rubbing alcohol, and 50% distilled water. Okay, so distilled water and rubbing alcohol. And what this does is it will not only take off all the dirt and dust, but it strips all the previous product or previous wax that was put on the paint before I got here. It strips all the product off. So the only thing I'm left behind with is a clean, fresh canvas to wax. So before you clay bar, you want to kind of knock the surface dirt off. However, for the sake of this car and this specific client, her car is not that dirty and she gets it washed on a pretty regular basis. And so for the pro detailers out there, sometimes in some situations you can kind of kill two birds with one stone, and you can clean the dirt off and clay bar kind of at the same exact time. So what I'm going to do with this car is I'm going to use my rubbing alcohol distilled water solution and my clay bar at the same exact time to clean it and clay it at the same time. Now, important to note, when you use a clay bar, you have to have some sort of lubricant to rub it across the paint. If you don't use a lubricant, you're not going to be able to rub it across the paint because it's just going to stick. Now, there's a lot of people out there who will tell you don't use water because water's not a slick or slippery enough lubricant to use. It's gonna scratch up your paint. That's just not true. I promise. I've been doing this for years. That is not true. I use water. However, if you go to like Walmart, you go to AutoZone, and you buy a detailing clay kit, it's going to come with a clay bar, probably a microfiber towel, and it'll probably come with some sort of lubricant, and it'll be titled like detailing clay lubricant. And if you want to use that, use it up, that's fine, but just know that using water is just fine as well. It's not going to do anything. So I'm just going to show you what I mean where the clay bar needs to be, got some bikers, the clay bar needs to be lubricated before you can use it. So I'm going to spray my alcohol and water solution right here, and I'm going to flatten the clay bar out like this, and I'm just going to rub like this. And then I'm going to take my microfiber towel and wipe it up like that. And now if you feel, there's nothing on this part of the paint. It's completely smooth. It's like a glassy finish. There's absolutely nothing left except for the clear coat. And it's a perfect canvas to wax. And that's important because when you wax a car, a lot of people have a lot of deceptions. When you wax a car, sometimes it's only gonna look, and no matter how great of a wax you use, it's only gonna look as good as the canvas allows it to look. So if you handed an artist a dirty canvas and told him to paint something, well, it's not gonna look as good as if you gave him a completely new, clean canvas. And it's the same exact thing. Sometimes clay barring the paint is the only way to make the waxed finish look outstanding. And if it's not clay barred, it's not going to look very good because the canvas you started on was not very good. Now, with that being said, the car paint needs to be cleaned before you clay bar it. So I'm going to go ahead and clean it with this alcohol solution, and then I'm going to show you what I do to clay bar it to make it faster. Alright, so here we go. Alright guys, so here's the hood of the car, and again I'm doing a Chevrolet Impala, and it is a beautiful day in Middle Tennessee. And I just love where I live because it's beautiful so much, and we have 4 seasons, and it's just an amazing place. Anyways, not what I'm talking about. So we've got my alcohol and distilled water solution. We've got my clay bar, and right here, this rag, this is just a chamois, okay? And that's just something to soak up water. Now this part right here is more geared to the pro detailers. If you want to make your detailing or your clay barring quicker, instead of using some sort of lubricant, spraying it on the paint, and then taking your clay bar and rubbing it like this and clay barring it, and then taking your microfiber towel and mopping it up, instead of going through that whole process, what you can do is get a wet your chamois, just kind of make it a little bit damp, put the clay bar in the middle of it, and literally this is what I do. Turn this over, the chamois will lubricate the clay bar, and I can do the whole car just like this. I don't have to wipe anything up, I don't have to mop anything up, and I can go the whole car and just every now and again pick it back up, wet it a little bit more with my hose, and go again. And I get to do this to the whole car, and it makes clay barring it so much quicker and so much easier. It's just really, really a much faster way of doing things. Now, before I clay bar this whole car and then kind of continue, I want to say just a couple things. To the pro detailer, you're probably going to want to order a clay bar offline that's more geared toward the pro detailers. It's going to be a greater size clay bar. You're going to get more for your money. And in my opinion, they're a little bit more durable and they last a little bit longer. For the do-it-yourselfer, I'm going to put a link below this video for both. But for the do-it-yourselfer, I'm going to put a link below of a clay bar kit, where it's literally you buy a box for like 25, 30 bucks maybe, and it's a box, it's got a clay bar in it, it's got a microfiber towel, it's got some sort of lubricant, and it's got a little holder for your clay bar so that you can keep it somewhere. And it's just like an all-in-one kit, and you don't need, for the do-it-yourselfer, you don't need the professional stuff. This kit that I'm going to put below here is a great one, and I think I'm probably going to put the one from Pinnacle. And it's literally all you need. It's probably all you'll need for the life of your car. Clay bars, despite what the manufacturers say, and this is for the pro detailer and for the do-it-yourselfer alike, clay bars last a very long time. And what you'll see is that manufacturers will say that if you drop it, then you need to buy a new one because you're going to get minerals inside of it and you don't want to scratch your paint. And that's just not true. That's their way of trying to get you to spend more money than you need on their products. All you got to do, if I drop it, I pick it up, I pick out what I can, and then I just mold it, and I just kind of knead it like bread. And that stuff will be so lost in there, it's never going to touch the paint, I promise. I've had this for like a year. I've been using this for like a year now, and it's like still like kind of the same colors when I got it. It's still kind of blue. It's dirty. But I mean, these will last for 2, 3, 4 years. I mean, you don't need to go buy. You buy one and you're good. Now, with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and clay bar this paint and then bring you back in for more tips, more information, and more about even just how to, just kind of waxing to finish and stuff. All right, guys, so I have now officially clay barred it, cleaned it, whole 9 yards. The paint is ready to be waxed. Now, a couple things. The way I clay barred it is just like I told you guys with the wet chamois. I wet the chamois, I put the clay bar in the middle of it, and I just rubbed it all across the paint like this, okay? And it was just much quicker. Because this car's paint was cleaner, I didn't have to use my rubbing alcohol water solution to clean off the paint before I went ahead and did that. I kind of just knocked out both in one, cleaning away the dirt and clay barring at the same time. And there may be some pro detailers out there who are like, Luke, come on man, you know you're scratching the paint doing that. But the fact of it is, it's a white car. My customer doesn't have a critical eye. I'm not saying be deceptive or lie or like do a bad job, but do you see any abrasions in this paint? Not at all. It's a daily driver. The car's driven all the time. It's not looking for perfection. This isn't a 1965 Corvette. It's just not, okay? And anyways, and if you can feel it or even hear, as I rub my hand, you don't hear anything. And that's what you want because the clay bar has removed all the surface contaminants. So as you rub, there's nothing under my hand. Totally glassy, smooth surface. You don't hear anything because there isn't anything there. So with that being said, my next step is to simply use my Meguiar's Express Spray Wax, microfiber towel, and wax the entire thing. Because it's clay barred, it makes the waxing process so much easier. It's the difference between waxing kind of like waxing sandpaper and waxing glass. It's just so much easier. It's like waxing glass. Now, a couple more things about the clay bar. Again, before you use the clay bar, you want to clean all the dirt off. But when you clean your dirt off, when you wash your car, there's going to be some things left over, like some road grime, some tar, and some bugs on the front end. I'll talk about bug detailing in a different video, but the clay bar will help to remove the bugs and the road grime and the tougher stuff that's really stuck. If you just be patient and rub that clay bar back and forth across the paint, it'll strip that bug off or strip that road grime off. But let me also show you something, because there is such thing as chips. So right there, there's a chip in the paint right there. I've debugged this whole front end, and from normal viewing distances, let me focus that in, from normal viewing distances it looks great. But bugs, when they're left to sit for a long time, you probably can't see it in this video, but there are some spots here and there because bugs are acidic, and if they're left for a long enough time, you can clean the bug away, but it actually has etched into the clear coat, and so there's a little bit of an outline or a stain left over, and there's nothing you can do about that, especially on the front end. And there's the mailman, because again, these are live videos. But when this is a daily driver, you're gonna get road rash, which means there's gonna be chips, there's gonna be some scratches, there's gonna be some bugs that have etched into the clear coat, some water spots that have etched in, and it's just the way it is. And I talk to my customers about that, like, check out this headlight. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a bunch of stuff, just a bunch of like kind of fading and chips and etches from bugs and stuff. And I talk to my customers about that. For all you pro detailers, it's real important to manage expectations before you do anything, and like say, hey, on the back of this rear view mirror, because this car is not maintained on a regular basis, there's going to be some spots that aren't going to come off because it's a chrome plate, it's very easy to scratch, and you're a daily driver. So some of this stuff is going to be etched in, some of it's going to be scratched, and it's not going to be cleaned away with a regular detail. Now, with that being said, I have also clay barred the windows. I've clay barred every window, the windshield, the windows. Now, why do I do that? Before you put window shine on or window cleaner, you have to prep the window. Just like before you wax a car, you gotta prep the paint. You gotta prep the window, because what's on the windows? Bugs, tar, tree sap, all sorts of stuff, and window shine is not gonna do anything about that. It's gonna totally keep that stuff on there. And because I'm only doing the exterior of this car, I don't have my whole detail set up, just gonna have some stuff out. But anyways, you can see, even in this like video, the windows look really, really clean. And I can see myself in the window. Okay, anyways, these windows look very, very clean already, and even in person they look very clean, because the clay bar does the exact same thing to the windows as it does to the paint. It strips all the bugs, all the tree sap, all of the stuff off. However, bugs do to windows the same thing that they do to the paint. They will etch into the glass. This is not a problem on the side windows or the back window nearly as much as the windshield, because the windshield is what takes all the hit. It's what takes all the bugs, the tree sap, all that stuff. So it's especially important to clay bar the windshield. But anyways, just take that as a note. When you get your clay bar, please, please clay bar the windows before you use any type of window shine. I spray the alcohol and water solution on the window, I clay it, and then I mop it up. And it comes out very clean, and it's completely smooth, just like the paint. See, the only thing you hear is my rubber glove across the glass. Totally smooth, totally awesome. Let me show you guys one quick thing, just to, in addition to this video, because I like to give a bunch of tips and tricks. This tool right here is it kind of looks like a screwdriver, but you actually put a razor blade in this end, you clip it in, and you use a razor blade, and you actually scrape the glass like this. A razor blade, contrary to what you would think, it literally does not scratch the window, and it just shaves everything off the glass. And I'll use this sometimes over a clay bar because I really like this tool. The razor blade literally just shaves everything off until all you have is just a totally clean window. Now, all that being said, I've already detailed the wheels. I have not put tire shine on, but I've detailed all the rims. I also detail out the inner barrel of the rims all inside here, because that's just one of those things that you get with Wilson Auto Detailing, is just the extra measure level 10. I've also detailed out all the wheel wells, wheel well lips, all that stuff. Very last thing I do is put tire shine on. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and use my Meguiar's Express Spray Wax microfiber towel, wax the whole thing. I'm also gonna wax with this product the windows, because it finishes the windows. I'm also gonna use it on the chrome. I'm also gonna use it on this black plastic trim. I'm going to use it on the top window, I'm going to use it on the front windshield, and I'm going to use it in the direct sun. And this car is very hot. Like, I cannot keep my hand there for very long because it's so hot. So that product, Meguiar's Express Spray Wax, can be used in the direct sun. So I'm going to go ahead and wax the whole car, do the wheels. I'm going to wax the rims as well, and then I'll take you back in to show you the finished product. Alrighty guys, so here is the finished product. So clay barred, cleaned, surface decontaminated, waxed, wheels are done, so I'm going to take you in. I finished the windows with Meguiar's Express Spray Wax. You can tell, even in the video, it just looks real good. Finished this right here, this divider piece, finished the chrome, finished the roof, the sunroof, finished the chrome, the back chrome plating on the rear view mirror, finished the rear view mirrors and the entire paint. Also finished the rims with it. I'll get in the sun so you can see it better. So this is what a clay barred, waxed, and totally finished car looks like. You can see here the tire dressing I use is VRP from Chemical Guys. It's a gel, or it's a water-based. I'll talk about that later. But I don't know why, but tire dressing always works better in the sun. So it always appears better. As you can tell, the tires just look incredible. Not too shiny, but just a really good shine. So anyways, car is totally waxed, totally clay barred, and if you were to take the back of your hand, can't hear anything. It's glassy smooth. Pretty incredible. Alrighty. So guys, with all of that being said, in the description box below this video, click show more, and it'll not only can you read the description of this video of what it's about, but I'm going to put a link and it'll be clear which one. I'm going to put a link for the do-it-yourselfers, for the clay bar kit that I suggest that's going to be best for you. I'm also going to put a link for the Meguiar's Express Spray Wax. I'm also going to put a link for the professional detailers out there. If you want to get a professional clay bar kit, I'm going to put that under this as well, and I'll label it so you can see which one. If you want to buy any of these products, use my link below this video. It's a totally safe link. It'll take you right to the product on Amazon, and it gives me a small, tiny commission if you use my link to purchase anything from Amazon. Even if you don't purchase the products, if you go through my link and purchase anything on Amazon, you can purchase a TV, and I'd still get a small commission. And if you do that, it just encourages me to keep making these videos, because I don't have to do this, and it takes more time for me to do this, so I'm doing this to help you guys. And if you want these products, go ahead and use my link, because it'll just encourage me to keep making these and help me help you. Also, if you like my channel, please subscribe so that I can see that these videos are actually what people want to see. Also, so subscribe to my channel, like this video if you like it. If you don't like it, dislike it. And if you want me to make a video about something specific, make a comment about what it is you want me to make a video about, and let me know and I'll do it. Anyways guys, Luke from Wilson Auto Detailing. Until next time.